come live. So this here is my, I don't know how many y'all watching, but so long story short is I drove to Hamvention. Okay, I had a little bit of inclination, but let me first of all tell you, good evening. This is an abbreviated, kind of ironic, abbreviated live with Rhea tonight. It's a little late, but it's also after Hamvention. I'm almost home, but I need to just charge the car a little bit before I go straight home. And yeah, people might laugh, okay, and say, "Oh, you got to charge your car." I'm not paying $4 a gallon, $5 a gallon, and I'm not paying $6.50 a gallon for diesel. And autopilot made the drive effortless. So it was actually quite good. I really enjoyed, you know, I had a little doubt about, driving to Hamvention again because I drove to Hamvention in the past, okay? And I had some bad experiences with that. So back in, might have been 2007, 2008, drove to Hamvention in Pennsylvania in a construction zone. I got hit, like literally a truck, okay, towing a horse trailer decided to, you know, yeah, I'll tell you about the Hamvention videos in a minute. So I got hit by a truck towing a horse trailer, okay? And ironically, that time I had Progressive Insurance, and then now I have NJM, and he had NJM at that time. So that ruined my whole thing. You know, the back of the car got bashed in. I still drove it to Ohio. Rich NN3W said, "Wow, yeah, that really looked bashed in." Okay, so yeah, it was bad, but this time it wasn't actually bad. So I have a video that I'm gonna show you guys the road trip to Hamvention a little bit coming from, and tell you, my experiences driving an electric vehicle to Hamvention. Um, and there are several people, including Peter, W2IRT, my friend, and David Minster, ARRL CEO. They had problems with flights because I don't know if it's weather or pilot strikes or whatever, but a bunch of flights got canceled. One guy on social media, on Facebook, said he drove 95 miles an hour to another airport to catch a flight. Okay, well, you know. And Marty, NN1C, said he just took a flight from Hebron, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, CVG Airport. I flew out of CVG Airport in 2019, I believe it was, because my kids had First Communion the next day. And, you know, I, I didn't want to miss that for them. You know, I mean, um, I'm not trying to force my religion on anybody, but if you're Catholic, you get it. Okay, that's a big deal. So, it's I had to be there for that. So the show itself, yeah. So the road trip was pretty good. Most of these superchargers are at Sheets, and this one is at Sheets here in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And this one, they're pretty good. They're pretty fast. I got over 100 kilowatts charging most time, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. In the car, I carried a couple of EcoFlow batteries to power electronics, things like my fridge. I have an ice cold fridge in the trunk that I use to carry water and drinks. So that's why I didn't have to buy a lot of stuff. Okay, and that worked out really well. And then when I went to the hotel, I just plugged it in. It's an EcoFlow Delta Max. Okay, 2 kilowatt hours. I plugged it in my room, charged it up, and it was good. I actually got in Hope Hotel. I got there with like half the battery, so I just charged it back up. At Hamvention itself, I and this is convenience, purely convenience charging. I didn't have to do it, but it's the nice thing is that I was able to just plug in my car right in downtown Xenia, and then for about $5 or so, it filled up my whole battery. So there's a public charger there. You pay for it a credit card, and I did that. So I left my car there. One of my AWL colleagues, he gave me a ride back, which it was walking distance, but I just figured I'd get a ride back. Yeah, this was so it was pretty eventful. So as far as the event goes, and I'll tell you about. First of all, let me tell you what I was doing. So I came there to support the AWL development booth. As you know, all the AWL people have a big spread inside of the, you know, the whole Hamvention and any ham convention. So it was, we support various things. We have the AWL store. And since I'm in the foundation, and you might not know it based on, the webinars, I didn't give a webinar, like AWL didn't invite me to talk about the grants program, but I'm actually working on that as well. So I came there to the booth to support that and to support a lot of other things too. It's kind of hard being, and it's not a humble brag, okay? It's kind of hard being ham famous, as they say, and going to a ham convention. Although, I really do appreciate all my friends, my fans, and my co-conspirators. And hi, Smoking Ape. I don't know if I saw you at Hamvention. You're mysterious. Um, but nice to see you. Yeah, so yeah, we went there, and but I generally I talk with a lot of people at these ham conventions, okay, and I bounce ideas, and there are a number of people who I talk to. You had a disguise on, yeah, okay. So you were there. Oh my God, you should have told me. But so a lot of you know people don't notice, even within the league itself, a lot of the ARRL donors are actually personal friends of mine, right? And I kind of really don't go and disclose this fact too much because they're my friends, right? And I'm friends with them for various reasons. Like, one of them, we have common interests and such like that, But, we have a lot in common. We have a big community, and I represent all hams, and I always like to talk with, uh, with lots of hams. So there are several people who talk to me, people who know me from social media, one, people who know me from YouTube, which is kind of social media, two, people who know me from Flex Radio, three, people who know me from, just on the air, contest, DX, and, that was a good thing. I really did not get to see a lot of vendors. I think the only thing I really purchased was a HT antenna to hook onto my ICOM 705, right? Because I want to use that as a backpack radio. I'm walking down the streets of New York City, to be honest, and I have a speaker mic, right? Or even somewhere in New Jersey. And it works for me. I was a little disappointed that some vendors weren't there, like Kenwood, Kenwood seems to kind of, there's rumors that Kenwood's getting out of the amateur business. I want to believe that's not true. I think the deal with Kenwood is that they're concentrating more resources into their land mobile business, and they really don't have a lot of resources for amateur, right? They are so they weren't there. CQ Magazine wasn't there because, as everybody knows, CQ Magazine has tremendous, oh God, I'm going to sound like Trump, tremendous financial problems, okay? And yeah, Kenwood has great radios. One of my favorite radios is the Kenwood. The first HF radio I actually used was a Kenwood too, and I'll talk about those sometime. But yeah, so they weren't there. CQ Magazine wasn't there because everybody knows they have tremendous financial problems and other stuff. So they're concentrating on getting their core product in order, which is the print magazine, which they're getting back in order. And you know what? I say good for them. And people might bash them and such like that, and they bash ARRL um, a lot. But you know what? I think we need that independent voice. Yeah, yeah. People think I've done weird things in the city. You know, yeah, Yesu guy. I like all of them. Well, I'm flex lady. So so yeah, so they had them there. I was looking for my friend Jim Gifford, KM4MPF. He wasn't there. He was kind of well, he was there, but I couldn't find him. You know, and he was very busy. He was there, so he owns a company called KM4MPF Sales, and he was there with a Linko. Um, because the booth space apparently was sold out. Japan Amateur Radio League wasn't there, JARL. Um, and I'll talk about Andrea in a second. Um, the Japan Amateur Radio League wasn't there. My friend Masa JR1AQN, he was looking for them, but they weren't there this year. Um, Andrea K2EZ, I saw her rover. I didn't see her. She stepped away while I was live streaming at the time. Lately, I haven't really had much, talking with her. I don't know why. Maybe she's just busy, and maybe I'm just busy. Maybe, I don't know. She's been in Texas a lot. You know, I really not. I really kept up with her. But I want to see what new toys are in her rover. I went to the Mississippi Valley Radio Association bus. They got a grant from ARDC, Amateur Radio Digital Communications, to build up their MCOM bus, and they're very grateful for that. I saw my friends from ARDC. I saw Bob McGuire, N4HY. I saw Phil Karn, KA9Q, and we talked about a lot of ideas and things about projects I'm doing. And when I talk with people, I don't only talk, in my, you know, in association with ARRL. Because here's the thing, okay? I support the ARRL. I also think that there are other organizations that, that could help. An ARRL can't do everything, okay? And I think it's healthy to have other organizations also do things for amateur radio. And, you know, and a lot of these are my, personal friends. So my goal in general is the enrichment of amateur radio, okay? And I don't care how it happens. I want to see that happen. I'm helping out a lot of people. I have the project with the local charter school, and we're doing that stuff. We're doing a lot with I do a lot of little things. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a past teacher. My dad was a teacher, but I really didn't learn much from him about being a teacher. I wanted to be at one time a school teacher, but you want to know something? I can't handle that stress, especially in New York and New Jersey. I mean, I could understand somewhere, a little more rural maybe. I don't know. But even in my area, rural area, we have, stuff in the school. So God bless teachers, and they do a tremendous job. I just can't do it. Right? But I support, educational initiatives. My Elmer, who was a teacher, when I mean he's no longer on earth. Well, he passed away in 2014. Cancer sucks, that's just how it is. So after hours events, I went to the donor reception for ARRL, right? And I met up with a bunch of my friends. I sat at the table with Marcia Fleming and 8FE, right? She's a really really nice lady. She's she's been, she's learning a lot about amateur radio, and but she knows a lot too. She's been licensed a while, and I teach her stuff and she teaches me stuff. So, you know, but I showed her some of the new toys like the Flex and stuff like that. David Minster gave a nice speech at the donor reception. It was good. I didn't agree with all of it. I'll be completely blunt, okay? But you know what? That's his discretion. Um, yeah, my dad was a high school, well, secondary school teacher. He taught several subjects. First of all, he taught shop class, right? The first shop class he taught was, well, he was an elementary teacher before I was born, but the earliest I knew he taught shop class, and he taught technical drawing, okay, which is where you take a T-square and you have a compass and and you protractor and such like that, and you draw construction lines and make shapes and draw objects, technical drawings. Then later on, he moved into metalwork. So he used to teach these kids welding, soldering, fabrication, and all sorts of stuff. And that was an in-demand field because of a lot of construction in Trinidad and Tobago. So this is in Trinidad. A lot of construction. They needed skilled metalwork people. Okay. And you know what? The trades are a very good path for a lot of people to pursue, right? It's not for everybody. But, you know, the good thing they did was in the junior secondary school, which is equivalent to junior high, they, they had shop class available for kids. The only thing I didn't like was that they made the shop class only for boys, right? And they put the girls in home economics, which is, I don't think I don't, if the girls want to learn shop class, let them learn, you know. There's woodworking, metalworking, technical drawing. So a lot of them, graduated, and he taught them that stuff. And then later on, he went to teach social studies, history, Caribbean history. That's what his degree is in. We're total opposites, aren't we? Mine is in electrical engineering. He's in social studies and history. So he's in arts. I'm in hardcore engineering and science. So anyway, the after hours events, right? I went on Friday. I went to the Flex Radio dinner. It was like a grand reunion. I was so happy to see everybody there, and Flex Radio is really a growing company. They're really nice growing company, and they have a lot of defense contracts, and they have some jobs if you guys want a job. So I'm I seriously considered putting my resume in and working for them. I'll have to give up the gig at ARRL though, but they seem like I've always had a good relationship with them. Um, yeah, yeah, well in Trinidad, they're a different society. They have different values, so to speak. They but apparently later on they had they let some of the girls do shop if they wanted, so that's good. But it was a little tough, it was a little tough because you have all the boys and the kind of toxic environment. Nothing against, I mean, boys are boys, okay, and boys will you know do stuff. There's a joke my cousin had. They saw, how can I say this that's YouTube friendly? Two of their classmates were doing stuff on the stairs in school. Okay, like, when hormones rage, that's what happens, right? And then the joke was the two of them would have stepchildren because they were doing that act on the stairs. Oh God, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, so that was fun time. So the Flex Radio dinner was real nice. I really enjoyed that. They talked about, so I knew about all that because I like Flex, they tell us a lot of stuff, right? Like I'm with the Alpha team and such, and they tell us a lot of things going on with the company. They have some really, really nice things coming up. I really want to refurbish my station and put back up my antennas. I talked to Stepper, and maybe I'll give Stepper another try. Who knows? And we'll see what goes on with them. The Saturday night was the contest dinner, and contest dinner was great. Contest dinner, they had a speech by Joe Rudy, right? NK7U. He's a MLB. I think he's a former retired baseball player, right? I don't know if he's Hall of Fame or anything, but he's he's of that persuasion, so to speak. Wait a minute, what am I doing? You know what? I might be just coming through one channel. Hold on. Let me see here. Oh well. Anyway, yeah. Um. Yeah. Am I only coming through one audio channel? Whatever. Let me see here. Well, whatever. Okay. It is what it is. But yeah. So all right. Thank you. So Smoke It Up to the rescue. And yeah, Joe Rudy was a speaker. The Contest Hall of Fame. They usually induct people into Contest Hall of Fame. They had yeah, yep, Joe Rudy. Okay, he's a ham, right? And he talked about his influence in baseball, how he got into contesting. Then they had two inductees into the. Hello, PD9RD. Good morning to you there in Netherlands. I know my stepdaughter is in the Netherlands, but anyway. So anyway, yeah. So two Contest Hall of Famers are in you know uh, were inducted. One of them was Craig Thompson, K9CT. Okay, so Craig, Craig is a contester, right? And Craig, he has done a lot of stuff with Flex radios in his contesting. So Craig was inducted, and then you also had what's his name? Um, Kilo Mike 3 Tango, Dave Pasco, the guy who owns the Netherlands, not Holland. Okay. All right. You got to tell me the difference between the Netherlands and Holland, okay? Is it one and the same? Or, So, the, yeah, so, K Mike 3T, he was, I didn't realize he did a lot of back end and IT work um, for the, uh, for Worldwide Radio Operators Foundation and, all of these other contest related things. But you may know him if you've ever used the app liveatc.net. You would have used one of his products. So he owns that. Um, he basically, is the guy who set that up. Liveatc.net. And one day I'll do a whole show on scanning and stuff you can do. But liveatc.net is where you can listen to aircraft communications real time. So you could tune into the airports and such like that. So when Trump was, he came up to Stewart Airport, right, which is nearby to me, Stewart Airport, SWF. I heard them call Air Force One, yeah. So and they were calling Air Force One, and yeah, it was pretty cool, and you could listen to traffic all over, you know. And they actually, one time he asked me to set up a receiver. I just didn't want to deal with the hassle and the bandwidth, you know. But maybe in the future we'll see. But yeah, no, it was pretty good. So they gave away a bunch of prizes. I couldn't, I'm not really supposed to take any of the prizes. So they gave away a bunch of stuff. The food was okay. I mean, Hope Hotel. Um, so oh yeah, let me explain about Hope Hotel. So this year, all the contesting activity moved to a different hotel called Hope Hotel. So Hope Hotel is actually on the right next to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, right? So they're very convenient to well they're not really convenient to a lot of restaurants and such like that, right? So it's not like downtown Dayton Crown Plaza. But the problem with Crown, I was told, is that there's a lot of crime and such that in Crown Plaza. My car is telling me there's enough charge to continue the trip, but I could just, I'll just blab a little bit and I'll have a little extra charge when I get home. But people used to get accosted. People used to get, you know, people used to get, not in South Holland. Okay, provinces, Dallas. Oh, cool, cool, cool. There's a Holland American bakery up where I live. They make some fantastic stuff. I think the owners are, well, the first generation owners are Dutch immigrants, and then their children are American born. But they bring a lot of tasty treats from Holland. And my friend Twan, he has a channel called Twan's Kitchen where he is from the Netherlands, and he has a lot of Dutch cooking and also some Indonesian cooking too. Some reason apparently Indonesia has a relationship with the Netherlands. So yeah, so what I was saying now, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, yeah. So Hope Hotel, right? So Hope Hotel, the hotel is okay, okay. And the reason Crown Plaza was the problem was people were getting crime, okay. Um, Crown Plaza became a Radisson hotel, and the Radisson, at that time Tim Duffy K3LR decided, you know what, we will just bail out of there. So Hope Hotel it is, and Hope Hotel, they they are the ones who are now doing all the contests and DX events. Well, not DX so much, but all the contest events, right? So they have Contest University there. I didn't go to Contest University, but yeah, yeah, okay. I think he said that right. And Indonesia was a colony of the Netherlands for a couple of 100 years. Okay, yes, I do recall him saying that. So Hope Hotel, they had Contest University, and as was Manhattan. Of course, it was New Amsterdam. Okay. Yeah. And hi, Carrie. How are you doing, baby? So anyway, that's my daughter. Yeah. So the Hope Hotel now has all the contesting events, and they now have the Contest University, and they have the Contest Super Suite, which is where all the contesters and DXers go to, to hang out and swap stories and such like that. And we go and we hang out with all of these fine people, all these contesters, like-minded people. The good news, the good and bad about Hope Hotel. The good news is the beer is cheap, okay, and all the drinks are cheap. Crown, they were getting really expensive, okay. So like they have domestic. I guess you could call it beer. I don't even think. I'm not gonna call it beer. Domestic, whatever thing in the bottle they sell, the liquid thing, right? Like Bud Light and Coors and all that other garbage. They it's $3, okay, $3 for one of those, and then imported beer was about $5 and $6, which is not bad, even if you give a tip, of course I try to give a tip, not bad at all. Red wine, white wine, good stuff. They have sodas too. I don't drink a lot. I try not to get drunk. But Yeah, the beer cooler did break, so that's a bummer. But they did have, a beer cooler. I guess it's not a. They had ice and a regular cooler on Saturday, so they had cold beer, right? And it was good. So I had a table with my fellow contest club members from Frankfurt Radio Club, and we were there, and we had a good time. I met up with one of my friends from Germany who I've known online and from the radio, Karsten, DM9 Echo Echo. Karsten, Karsten is a real stand-up. He's a good humanitarian. $10 a bottle of water, Cirque du Soleil. Yeah, Karsten. That's better than the. Well, that's probably worse than the $8, sweet tea at Orlando. You know. So Karsten, DM9 Echo Echo. If you follow Karsten on Facebook, he has he owns a hotel, right? Uh, in a place called Holzminden in Germany, right? Well, he says it was West Germany at one time, okay? And he's a really kind soul. He's a really, really good guy, really stand-up guy. He loves, he loves hanging out with ham radio operators, right, and friends, and he loves ham radio. He he owns a hotel. He took in some Ukrainian refugees, okay, and he also went and dropped off supplies at the Ukrainian border for Ukraine. And he collected money, but he spent his own money on diesel to go across the Ukrainian border and drop off supplies. And in Germany, diesel ain't cheap. You know, it's like what, probably $10 a gallon. So yeah, he took his little Mercedes van and he went there. So I met him. I had a chance to interview him, and I have an interview with him that's going to be on the radio show, right? Rhea Shack radio show, which airs at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and midnight UTC, Sunday UTC. So that's going to be up next Saturday, okay? And they're gonna air that show, and I'll talk a little bit about Hamvention and such like that. I think it'll be mostly Hamvention focused. Of course, if you miss the show because you're watching Ham Radio Crash Course or something, you can always catch it on the podcast platform. You know, I put up the podcast on a platform called Podbean, and I need to set it up to go into Spotify and such like that. So that's going to be interesting. Other things at Hamvention, well, I walked the flea market. You saw my live stream for that. I had over 100 people on that live stream. Thank you guys. That was amazing. And I walked a little bit of the flea. I didn't really see much stuff I needed. I bought a HT antenna, with a BNC plug for my 705. That's all I bought. I was looking for ferrite beads, but I wasn't seeing anything interesting at all that I needed, because I want to run some ferrite beads on some of the house wiring to deal with some interference issues. I also where did I go? I went to the YL forum, okay, and the YL forum was nice. The YL forum had a good bit of people. I met up with Ted Randall and Holly, who they own the WTWW radio station, and they're nice people. They came. I brought Holly to the ladies forum, and she was interested. But they had the whole broadcast set up there. So Ted was there behind the console, and they were remote controlling the transmitters. That's amazing. Speaking of shortwave broadcasters, also met Lauren Libby, W0LD, from Transworld Radio. So Transworld Radio, hi, good evening, Colorado. Yeah, Transworld Radio is a Christian broadcaster. They deal with, let's see here. Okay, yeah. They're a Christian broadcaster. They have transmitters in Bonaire and Guam and some other places. And they do, of course, they do religious programming, right? But I think Lauren says he has a 1 hour ham radio program, so I have to ask him about that. Maybe I'll talk to him. But he gives a good talk about running a 500,000 watt shortwave station. Okay, and this is not like running a 100 watt transceiver. It's not even like running 1500 watts. At 500,000 watts, things happen. Okay, and the FCC, if you're operating in American territory, you have to measure things and make sure you're not irradiating things you're not supposed to be irradiating. Okay, then outside the United States, I would imagine it's a little different. So yeah, so yeah, that was interesting. Lauren's a character. He so he and I met up. I met up with a bunch of people, probably some of you here in this chat too. You know. The Flex Radio dinner, Ed Hare gave a nice presentation about the ARRL lab, and that was pretty cool. What else? I went to the Mississippi Valley, I told you that, Radio Association bus. Yeah, I think it was good. Attendance was down. Surprisingly, Friday seemed to be very well attended. Saturday, things were very well attended in the morning and dropped off in the afternoon. I didn't spend too much time there Sunday to really get a gauge. So, I wanted to do like a tree and leave. So, because all the weather wasn't looking good and I had to drive through that weather, so. Hey, that's Hamvention, I hope to see you guys next year. Hayden VK7HH wants to come up to Hamvention, we'll see. It's quite a lot of money to fly from Australia. Maybe he'll, find a way to come up here. I really want to go to Friedrichshafen in Germany, but not this year because I wouldn't be able to this year. Maybe next year, I'll probably have enough miles. I want to bring the kids too, so I'll probably have enough miles for that. So, yeah. Rumors on attendance. Someone say 40 Canada. Yeah, Sterling. From my feel on it is, I was a little surprised. Okay, I was a little surprised. I thought it would be a ghost town, right? Because a lot of people were saying how they ain't coming because of COVID, and then they ain't coming because of the price of gasoline, and airfare. They're kind of, they're just, I figured people would not come. But somehow people found, COVID wasn't an issue for a lot of people. And some people found the gas money, okay? And, when you think about it, yeah, gas is up. It's a lot of money now. It's like probably twice or 3 times what it was. Well, I would say back when we had the last Hamvention, it's probably twice as much, right? Because the low gas prices in 2020 had to do with the pandemic. But I still would think we had a good show, and I think I hope the vendors that skipped out this year will come back next year. We'll see how that goes. Next year we'll see what I'm doing. I don't know if I'll do the same thing, but I always go with Team ARRL, to volunteer and do something. So, well, you know what? My car is ready. I should get going. It's been charged up for a while now, And yeah, the Fiat 500. So I took the glasses off to take a rest from this. Oh yes. Let's see here. What's it? What is Sterling saying? Glad you changed your mind. Yeah. Yeah. Sterling. I think Sterling said he had some issues. So. I'm trying to see here. Yippers. All right, we're gonna go now. Okay. Yeah. And we're gonna do like this. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right, I'm gonna shut this down, right? Because no distracted driving. I'm gonna have a video up soon. Okay, everybody. Um, you know, peace in 73s.